Danger Dolan. From uncooked meat to dangerous gas that can put you in a coma, we count 50 poisonous household items. Number 50. Antifreeze is a dangerous one since it doesn't smell bad and actually tastes good. If you or someone you know consumes some antifreeze, make sure you call an ambulance and poison control as soon as possible or your kidneys will fail. Number 49. If your windscreen ices up every day, you'll probably want to buy some windshield washer solution. Just keep in mind that it's made with large amounts of methanol, a highly toxic type of alcohol. If consumed, it can cause permanent blindness and death. Number 48. Insecticide is a pretty obvious one, right? Well, that doesn't mean people don't still get poisoned by it because they go nuts and spray the bugs in their house without any ventilation. If consumed, it can cause convulsions and induce a coma. Number 47. Some artificial nail removers can cause some serious issues with a low volume consumption. If you or someone you know takes some nail remover, it will cause methemoglobinemia, which hinders your blood's ability to bind oxygen. Number 46. Be ultra careful around drain cleaners because even their fumes can kill you if you breathe enough of them, as well as burning your organs from the inside out. Number 45. A topical anesthetic is one of those creams that numbs the area where it's applied. You might be tempted to buy some illegally if you have enough pain, but if you don't do it right, and you probably won't, you'll do severe, irreversible damage to your eyes. Number 44. Anionic detergents, also known as carpet cleaners, are corrosive and can cause damage in your organs as well as blindness if it gets in your eyes. Number 43. If you take too many iron tablets, you'll contract iron poisoning, where you'll feel stomach pain, and if you don't get help within 24 hours, your liver and brain will begin to suffer to the point of possible death. Number 42. Toilet bowl cleaners are mostly used to remove the smell and dirty look of your toilets, and if you ingest enough without treatment, you can experience organ damage, seizures, and become comatose. Number 41. Analgesic pain relief medications, e.g. paracetamol, aspirin, and ibuprofen, are deadly in high dosages, causing organ failure and all manner of problems. Number 40. Furniture polish can put you in a coma if you drink or inhale enough. If it gets in your eyes, you could go blind, and if it gets on your skin, it will cause burns and irritation. Number 39. Perfumes and colognes often contain ethanol and isopropanol, both of which are dangerous types of alcohol and can cause anxiety, nausea, and seizures. Number 38. There's a reason you don't swallow your mouthwash, as the product can cause dizziness, diarrhea, and induce a coma. Number 37. Petroleum gasoline, better known as gas or petrol, has dangerous fumes that can cause seizures, low blood pressure, and serious pain in your eyes, ears, nose, and throat. Number 36. Consuming kerosene, the liquid used in heating, cooking, and gas lamps, can cause bloody stools, internal burning, and seizures. Number 35. Moths are annoying, I know, but eating a mothball won't solve your problem, and it will in fact damage your blood so it can't carry oxygen and also induce a coma. Number 34. Oil paint can damage you on your skin, in your stomach, and in your lungs. It can cause serious problems in the nervous system as well as death. Number 33. Codeine is a commonly prescribed drug that is dangerous if you overdose, causing fatigue, drowsiness, bowel spasms, and if you take too much, death. Number 32. Yep, your old pal alcohol is in here again, except this time I'm talking about the beverage instead of the other crap. Alcohol poisoning happens a lot thanks to the impaired judgment that comes with being drunk. If you don't get help, you can and will die of alcohol poisoning. Number 31. If you eat a battery, depending on the type, you can get brain damage, muscle cramps, spasticity, pneumonia, diarrhea, and bronchitis. Number 30. If you get paint thinner on your skin, it can cause necrosis, which means your flesh starts dying off. And if you eat or inhale it, you can get memory issues and a strong fever. Number 29. Hey kids, did you know that smoking tobacco is bad for you? Crazy, right? It can cause cancer, will cause emphysema, and is just all around bad for your health.
Number 28.
Rodenticide poisoning can cause blood in your pee and poo, an impaired mental state thanks to bleeding in the brain, pale skin, and death.
Number 27.
Some skin lightening cream have been found to have relatively high amounts of mercury in them, enough to cause mercury poisoning to the point of bleeding gums, bloody diarrhea, and vomiting, and death.
Number 26.
Most deodorants and antiperspirants contain aluminium salts and ethanol, and that if you consume too much through breathing or drinking, it can cause diarrhea, vomiting, induce our old friend coma, and death.
Number 25.
That's right, Mr. Potato is here to cause death or injury, but only when he's green, or when you leave his leaves or stem, because otherwise he's just a delicious morsel of starch and carbs.
Number 24.
Turpentine is a nasty liquid extracted from pine trees. If you drink or breathe it in too much, you can die, but more importantly, you will pee blood. And if that isn't enough to convince you of the dangers of turpentine, I don't know what is.
Number 23.
You know those old school thermometers, the ones that are glass tube with red liquid inside? Well, the inside of those contain mercury, the highly toxic liquid metal. You should probably avoid drinking it.
Number 22.
Insect repellents generally contain a poisonous substance to prevent mosquitoes landing on you, and if you drink it, you'll get an upset stomach. You'll vomit, cough, and then have a bunch of seizures.
Number 21.
Everyone knows that fish is one of the worst foods to get food poisoning from, or at least I hope they do, because it can take you out for over a week with vomiting and diarrhea.
Number 20.
Nappy or diaper rash creams can be dangerous if it's consumed by an infant, which of course, if you have this cream, chances are you probably have a kid around, or you're into some kinky shit. Either way, there's some risk involved.
Number 19.
Some of you might have acne, and if you have acne, chances are you have some cream to help you with your problem. Just make sure not to eat it or get it in your eyes because it can cause your skin to get scaly and even more gross.
Number 18.
Calamine is a lotion to treat skin inflammation, and it contains zinc oxide, which can cause chills, nausea, and a high fever if you eat it. So I wouldn't chow down on any calamine anytime soon if I were you.
Number 17.
Teflon is generally what makes your pots and pans non-stick, and if it's superheated, it can cause cancer and all manner of health problems. So make sure not to leave a pan with nothing in it on the stove for too long.
Number 16.
Plastic bags coated with a number 7 contain BPA, which can cause cancer and hormonal problems in young females to the point where they can enter puberty too early.
Number 15.
Pretty much anything that is designed to kill one organic can kill another in a high enough dosage, and herbicides are no exception. If you consume too much, you can be forced into a coma.
Number 14.
Not only can you screw with your body if you eat too many antibacterial products, if you don't follow your instructions as prescribed by a doctor, you'll contribute to the problem where bacteria is getting increasingly resistant to antibiotics.
Number 13.
PBDEs is found in most flame retardants, and they can cause serious health problems if consumed to the point where it was banned in Europe, but it's still used in America. So keep an eye out for that, Americans.
Number 12.
Sleeping pills can kill you, okay? I mean, I'm sure you already know this, since sleeping pill overdose is commonly used in TV shows and movies as a form of suicide.
Number 11.
If your gas heater is faulty, it can produce carbon monoxide, which can cause a minor case of permanent death if you breathe it in too much.
Number 10.
Not only is sewage one of the grossest materials on planet Earth, it's also potentially deadly if you breathe in the fumes too much. Also, the gas is like really flammable.
Number 9.
Now, mold growing in your house isn't as bad as is commonly believed, but if you're highly allergic to it, mold can cause a high fever and serious chest infections.
Number 8.
If you have some Scotchgard lying around that was produced before the year 2000, you should dispose of it immediately, since it can cause severe birth defects and other health problems.
Number 7.
There's a reason you can't order your chicken anything other than well done, since uncooked chicken contains bacteria that can cause food poisoning.
Number 6.
We're still not sure about laser printer dust, but we do know that it's better safe than sorry. So if you're printing something with a laser printer, try and do it in a well ventilated area and leave the room during the process.
Number 5.
Coal tar products contain human carcinogens, which is a word for things that give us cancer.
Number 4.
Formaldehyde is used as a glue in pressed wood products, and if you breathe enough of it in, it can cause irritation in your eyes, nose and ears, as well as give your dog or cat nasal cancer.
Number 3.
Lead paint isn't used in this day and age, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist anymore, as tins of lead paint are still found in people's attics, sheds and basements to this day. If you see a tin of paint that's so old you can't read the label, you should dispose of it.
Number 2.
Engine lubricants can negatively affect many different organs, but the main problems pop up in the lungs, but can also cause brain trauma if you breathe in too much.
Number 1.
Uncooked pork can contain intestinal tapeworm eggs, which are tiny and a non-issue if you cook the meat, but can give you a lot of health problems if you like your pork raw. That's it for this countdown, and have a good one! And if that isn't enough to convince you that there's a plane flying over my fucking head, making noise, can't record anything, thanks!